everyone, I'm Lilith Fox, and we're back for another episode of Turnips and Tea, a series on my channel where we grab a mug of tea or coffee, snuggle up with a blanket, and chat while playing Animal Crossing. Today I want to talk to you about routines, in-game and out. Do you have a daily routine in Animal Crossing? I definitely do. If you've watched my videos, you know that about a month ago I decided to be intentional about the way I wanted to play Animal Crossing. If you haven't seen my video on why I restarted my first island, I've linked it here for you. Essentially, I play Animal Crossing to remind myself to take things slowly and enjoy small, everyday moments. I don't time travel, I try not to skip through Isabelle's morning dialogue. Instead, I'll notice small things, like the hybrid flower beside her and the sweater she's now wearing. I speak to all of my villagers regardless of how much I like them. I take time finding them, wandering around my island, picking up fallen sticks, and digging up unwanted flowers. I walk through areas that still need to be built to imagine what I'll create there. I fish and catch bugs just for the joy of it. There's nothing wrong with playing the game differently, don't get me wrong, but this is how I like to play. This is a way of playing that aligns with how I try to live my life outside of Animal Crossing. Wander aimlessly. Spread joy. Notice the small things. Take it slow. So today I figured I'd walk you through my daily routine while we chat about why I find routines so important. I've always been interested in the idea that we are, all of us, made up by our smallest actions. This is an old idea. We are what we repeatedly do. It is not our intentions, our dreams, our biggest ideas that define us. It's our small, everyday, seemingly insignificant habits. It is one thing for me to say that I dream of being an author. It's another thing for me to sit down and write every day. It's one thing for me to intend to make time to exercise. It's another for me to actually set out my yoga mat each morning. I'm a dreamer. I am better at dreaming than doing. I've learned this about myself. But while my dreams and intentions are important, and yes, they do make me who I am in part, it's only through my actions and habits and accomplishments that I can ground them. I am what I repeatedly do. I am what I choose to do. I think my interest in this idea stems from my preoccupation with parceling out where I came from. What really does make me who I am? Who made me who I am? How much can I really change myself? Have you ever thought about this? About your characteristics, personality, quirks, and where they come from? I think about mine all the time because I was raised to be something almost altogether different from what I am today. Quiet, compliant, delicate, heterosexual. I had a rough childhood. I was molded by a lot of people before I started molding myself. I'm still working on that last part. So I think a lot about how I was as a small child and the ways that I've changed over time. I've always been anxious, but I used to be better at using my imagination for things other than just fear. I've always been quiet, but it used to be the listening kind of quiet, not the quiet of fearing to speak. I've always loved the woods and the ocean, and if you ask me to choose one or the other, I don't think that I can. I never used to fear taking up space. I never used to fear greatness. I learned that. I learned that the hard way, and unlearning it has been even harder. If you think about some of your characteristics as things you've learned over time, then doesn't that mean you can take on new ones? I'd like to be less socially anxious. I'll always be socially awkward, I expect, but I'd like to be less anxious about it. I'd like to have more confidence. I'd like to believe in myself more. I'd like to stop second-guessing things. I'd like to take up space without it feeling wrong. I'd like to be someone who meditates. Really, really meditates. I'd like to experience love without fearing its loss. And I guess those two ideas are linked for me. We are what we repeatedly do. We are also what we were made to be, unless we choose otherwise. But it's the choosing that's hard. It's the doing that's hard. And just like setting out to practice yoga every day, I believe you can set out to mold yourself every day. It's about setting intentions and following through with actions. About a month ago, I challenged myself to start this channel. I challenged myself to be the kind of person that is brave enough to take up some small space on the internet and share her ideas and creations and build a community. But of course, just envisioning that isn't enough. Just intending it is not enough. I have to choose almost every day to work on my island, to write out my thoughts, to edit videos, to create. I have to choose to be vulnerable. I have to choose to take up space. I have to choose confidence. And every time I make that choice, it gets a little easier. Every time I hit publish, I move closer to being the kind of person I want to be. Confident, brave, vulnerable, creative. We are what we repeatedly do. We are who we choose to be. I choose to wander aimlessly. I choose to spread joy. I choose to be vulnerable with you. What do you choose?